journey from soul discovery to soul mastery. Each week, we explore aura wisdom, spirit connection, and energy tools to help you embody your light and live your soul's purpose with clarity, joy, and fulfillment. Take a deep breath. Welcome home.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Aura Evolution podcast. I had experienced a little bit of technical difficulty before hopping on live, and I don't want to blame Mercury retrograde, but I just want to put it out there that Mercury is currently in retrograde. That means that if you're not familiar with this term, and sometimes technology, travel, things like that gets delayed or interrupted. If you are tuning with me live on all social media platforms every Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, you're welcome to ask me any questions related to the topic that we discuss. The Aura Evolution podcast is live every Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time on all social media platforms. And then every Tuesday, you will have the audio on Spotify, Apple Music, as well as Amazon Music. So today, every morning, as I discussed about in the past episode on my daily aura or energy hygiene, every morning I like to have a walk outside, to get natural air and the sun, as well as doing yoga and meditation in a community park around me. And today I see a lot of signs of spring. So spring and happy March, right? It's signs of spring. And I also feel the spirit of Mother Mary, and that's also Mother Gaia, as well as the goddess Ostera. That's the spring goddess Ostera and Archangel Jophiel. So those spirits are highlighted basically right now. So I feel called to host a community ceremony for our soul's spring reset. So let me know if you are interested in joining, in the comment or in my emails. So that way I kind of know if you are, want to have a ceremony together, because every time when we gather together at a community setting, our soul's energy amplifies. So that's something that I'm considering to open on spring equinox. Literally, spring equinox this year is on March 20th, and it's a Friday. So stay tuned and let me know what you think. And then also another very exciting news that I shared last week is that the Aura Color Wheel book won a book award at the Conscious Life Expo in LA. So as a thank you to my community who voted for the book, I'm offering the first month off for my Aura Evolution Sanctuary membership. In this membership, we gather on a monthly basis the first Thursday of the month. It's Jupiter's Day. Thursday is Jupiter's Day. It's great time to do spiritual practices. And so this is the link. I'm going to put it in the comment and also the show notes that you can grab to get your first month off for the membership. The next meeting is going to be on March 5th, just right after the full moon eclipse on the 3rd. Because every time when there is a full moon eclipse, March 3rd, there is a full moon eclipse in Virgo. Every time when eclipse happens, it really reveals us something that's deep inside of our soul that we need to heal or we need to integrate. So now is the ideal time to connect to today's topic, which we're going to talk about. It's how do you know that you have healed a soul wound or learned a soul lesson? Because this is one of the questions that I get all the time from my Aura Color Wheel practitioners. In the Aura Color Wheel book, or if you have taken the course, you understand what is your soul gift archetype and what are your soul wound or soul lessons. So then you really want to know that if I consciously working on healing a particular aura layer, like how do I know, right? So I summarize 10 different signs that's going to reveal to you that you have healed a soul wound or integrate a soul lesson. Okay. And it's always no matter what you're working on, it's always great that you can connect with your spirit team as a guided experience. It's almost like sometimes when shadows feels heavy, just like what we had discussed last week with our special guest Kara Goodwin, that we talk about to pray so that you can connect with your spirit team for guidance. And that's actually exactly the topic that we're going to talk about in the Aura Evolution Sanctuary, this upcoming meeting, the March 5th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. In the membership, we're going to talk about how to connect with your spirit team. So if you feel called, grab the link, and I'm going to show you how to connect with your guides for higher guidance. And now it's $55 off for the first month off of the membership. And the link is in the comment. Okay, so we're gathering next Thursday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time to connect with our spirit team. So let's go back about the topic we're going to talk about on how do you know that you have healed a soul wound or integrate a soul lesson. On my Aura Color Wheel book, from page 40 to 55-ish, that whole section, about like 15 to 16 pages, I describe exactly what's the difference between healing and curing, as well as incorporating a soul lesson and healing a soul wound. So if you have the book, you can definitely refer to it while we talk about it. And as I mentioned, that I summarized 10 signs that you can identify that you have healed a soul wound or incorporate a soul lesson. I'm going to go through these signs that your soul gets an upgrade. And then I'm going to go deeper, into each of them, what they mean. Okay, here are 10 signs that your soul wound and soul lessons are integrating. First, your body is no longer carrying the message. Second, the pattern stop repeating. Third, you no longer react, you respond. Fourth, you feel compassion for your former self, thus extend the compassion to others. Fifth, you can teach what once broke you. You're able to share it with, comfort. Six, you don't need external validation around it anymore. Seven, the lesson feels complete. It's not dramatic. 8, you stop identifying with the wound. 9, your energy feels lighter and you feel freer in general. 10, you make different choices. You have that little pause in between, even under pressure. So those are the 10 signs that you can find if you have healed a soul wound or learned a soul lesson. Okay, so I'm going to go deeper into each of them. First of all, when you identify your soul wound and soul lesson, there is always a manifestation. So it's a symptom, right? That's a repeating symptom that's bothering you. That's why you need to heal. And often life will reveal you or offer you the opportunity when your soul is ready. Okay, it will initiate you, and it's your choice to heal it or not. So if you don't heal it, you choose to ignore it. Basically, life will just keep showing you, the similar patterns or similar circumstance until you face it head on. So those manifestations can be physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual. So physical symptoms are easier to identify. For example, I was born with a soul wound in my throat chakra. So I constantly have strep throat and nose bleeding. Those are the physical symptoms, right? So if you have any stomach issues related to the solar plexus chakra in your belly area, right? Like your liver, pancreas, anything around that, then you know that's related to your yellow aura layer. And same with the heart, if you have, breast cancer or anything that's related to the heart chakra, like physically I'm talking about, right? That's related to that particular aura layer. So that's the physical manifestation. Okay. And then there is the emotional manifestation. Now, in the Aura Color Wheel book, chapter 2, I list out all the emotional symptoms for each aura layer. Okay. So, like, for example, aggression, frustration, or greed and control is the overactive manifestation, emotional symptom of the red aura layer. And when it's when it's blocked, you feel depression. It's almost like if an aura layer is overactive, you get an inflammation in that particular area, no matter it's inflammation or going outwards, like a burst of energy. So it can manifest it in mental symptoms, like your thought is really angry, right? That's like the yellow aura layer. So that's like the inflammation, or the almost like the anxiety prone symptoms of an aura layer out of balance. Now, on the other hand, when an aura layer that's like underactive, like really suppressed, blocked, it's like you feel numb, you feel depressed, right? That's the inward energy. We want neither of them. We want this energy to be balanced and whole. We kind of like, like basically in a wholeness state, in a balanced state. That's neutral. That's when a aura layer is basically whole, balanced, and healed. Okay. So so that's like the like there are mental and emotional symptoms of particular aura layers. And those are all listed in the Aura Color Wheel book. And you can also download the Radiant Aura Guide on my website, helencreatesbeauty.com, to kind of self-diagnose and self-identify what are the aura layer that you are out of balance. Now, even though you were born with two strong aura layers, are your soul gift archetype, but it doesn't mean that those two aura layers are never go out of balance. It will still out of balance if you over exercise your soul gift. So like if you are a healer, born soul gift archetype, and then you heal all the time, you give too much, and your heart chakra might be out of balance. Okay. So it's not like it's a strong aura layer that you will never go out of balance. And then lastly, we have the spiritual symptoms of a soul wound and a soul lesson. Now, spiritual symptoms are deeper. Sometimes it will trigger multiple aura layers to be healed at the same time. So I'm talking about ancestral wounds, karmic patterns, and past life wounds. Okay, so those are the deeper ones that you need to heal. So those are the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual symptoms, are the all four ways of manifested as in a soul wound or a soul lesson. Now, the first sign that you have incorporated a lesson or heal a wound is that your body no longer carry the message. For example, if you used to have, survival stress, anxiety, or lower body tension, now you don't feel that tension anymore. That means your red aura layer now is returned to balance or return to a holy state, right? Because if you are still, always constantly feeling stress, constantly feeling anxiety, and also body tension in the lower part of your body, right? I'm talking about your legs, your ankles, your feet. All of these are showing you. So once you no longer have a wound or a lesson in that aura layer in terms of physical symptom, basically that physical symptom will be gone. So like, for example, if you have digestive issues, right? And then now the digestive issue is gone. That means your yellow aura layer physical symptom is healed. Same with your chest, that's your green aura layer. Blue aura layer is your throat, right? And if you used to have hormonal issues or sciatica, and now the symptom is gone, that means your orange aura layer is healed. Now that is the physical symptom. So that means that your body no longer keep telling you that there is something is out of balance. So your body no longer carry the message. And the second sign is that the pattern stop repeating. For example, if you always have a constant thought, like it can be a thought pattern or a behavioral pattern, right? So you have a constant thought of like, I'm not good enough, right? That's stem from your yellow aura layer, because that related to your self-empowerment, self-identity, and confidence, right? And that mental pattern, now that is gone, like now I feel like I'm confident, I know that I'm worth no matter what. I don't need other people or external validation to validate me. That means that your, mental symptom or that mental pattern is gone. Okay. So it's incorporated in your daily life. That's another sign that you have healed a basically a soul wound or a soul lesson. Now, this pattern can be also behavioral. So behavioral pattern, I'm talking about maybe you used to have eating disorder, or like you use food or some kind of like cigarette or alcohol, like some kind of addiction to something as an emotional comfort, for example, right? But then once you face your inner child, you heal your emotional aura layer in the sacral chakra, and this particular pattern can be gone. Or some people just, get stuck in a relationship that's toxic. Toxic relationships or any type of addiction is basically a manifestation of an emotional trauma, or, the inner child wounded in the sacral chakra. And once you have healed that particular pattern, this pattern stop, neither in the thought or the behavioral or the emotional pattern. That means that your soul wound has healed and your soul lesson is incorporated, no matter whether it's a lesson or a wound in your soul oracular. And number 3 is that you no longer react to the situation. Like, for example, I used to have anger management issues. Anger is like in the solar plexus chakra. And sometimes it also rooted in your red aura layer in the root chakra. So both of them, anger is basically inflammation in that particular area, like an overactive reaction. So now, my mom used to trigger me and get me angry, right? So you always have a trigger. You notice that, repeating trigger. And now, even though that trigger does the same thing, but it no longer trigger you, right? You don't react. You kind of pause and respond in a different way. Now that means that you also heal an aura layer or learn it. And then, of course, once you went through the depth of the healing, you will feel more compassion to your former self, meaning that you have more self-love, self-compassion, and forgiveness, even towards yourself. So you're not as critical, judgmental, and harsh to yourself. Then you can extend this compassion to others. That means it's easier for you to forgive others, even of your enemy. I know it's really a hard practice, but when your light quotient or your aura layer restore to a balance, it's easier for you to be compassionate about yourself and others. And also another sign is that you are easier to communicate with what you went through. Like you're able to, went through the storm, and now you can even teach to others. That's exactly what I'm doing. Like you're comfortable of sharing, the dark side of the soul growth journey. And then you don't need you don't need external validation anymore. And also, you stop identifying with your wound. That's very important. That's a huge sign. So basically, before you will call myself that I am anxious or I am abandoned, I am not enough, that I am, it's an identification statement. So you no longer identify with that statement. Instead, you will say that I experience anxiety. Sometimes I experience it. Instead of I am, it becomes that, occasionally that comes, that's an experience. Or I went through abandonment, that happened in the past. I went through it. And I used to struggle with self-worth. That's how you basically express it. You no longer identify with your wound, and then so your energy you'll feel much safer, much lighter in general, happier, and you feel a sense of freedom. That's like the new way of feeling, like you feel good about yourself. And also, very importantly, last but not least, is that you make choices differently under pressure. So before, it's really hard, for you to make a calm decision. Right now, even under the storm, you're able to pause a little bit, like in between. You caught yourself in your thoughts, in your consciousness, in your behavioral patterns. And now you consciously make a choice to basically you won't regret it later. Like before, you get triggered and you might react immediately, yell or storm out, or things like that. And right now you get a pause in the moment and say that, oh, I'm experiencing anger. And then you choose to have a walk outside and do not directly engage with the angry conversation, or do not take radical actions, act out on that anger. And you basically choose a different action to make yourself calm and to process this anger before you take any actions. That's a sign that your soul level is upgrading. Okay. And the cool thing is, once you have all of these signs that that particular thing that used to bother you, it's no longer there. That means your energy get an upgrade, that you will really likely to evolve into a different soul gift archetypes, or hold multiple soul gift archetypes within your soul aura. And that means that your manifestation, it's going to be so much faster. So basically, like when we I will give you an example, right? So when I was trying to manifest a successful business, okay, so Avocado Toast has a question. She asked that if someone can begin healing soul wounds on a higher level of consciousness, how long does it take to manifest that into a regular life? Now, that's a very good question. However, I would answer that soul has its own time. Your soul has its own timing. So it's not something that we can plan, like, oh, okay, now I'm consciously working on this particular aura layer soul wound. Then in 3 months or in 1 week, my soul wound will be gone. Because it really depends on how deep that patterning it is in your soul level. Like if it is a past life wound that you just had, like since past life, or you have already had it repeating it for 20 lifetimes, for example, and that might take longer. Same with ancestral wounds or karmic wounds. Those might take longer, even though you have the awareness. And that's actually what I'm going into, using an example to show you, right? So that might take a little bit longer. But if it is something that's in your soul aura color energy, that's a little bit lighter. That's what I'm talking about, the lessons, the soul lessons. It might be a negative repeating pattern. It might be an inner child wound that you experience this lifetime or just past lifetimes. So it's not like many multiple, accumulation of ancestral trauma, karmic pattern, or past life wounds, right? So those might take faster if you are aware of it and working on it consciously, right? So it's really hard for me to tell you a human time, how long it's going to take you, because it's on a case by case example. Now, the deepest wound that I have healed, it's definitely my ancestral trauma, and it just happened recently. So it's still really fresh. I will use that as an example because I was on my way to manifest my business. I was successful as an artist. I had an feng shui interior design business, and at the time I was transitioning into spiritual teaching and channeling the system, right, the oracle system, and building my spiritual course coaching type of business. I'm transitioning basically. So at that time, I need both my entrepreneur soul gift archetype, meaning the yellow aura layer and the blue aura layer, to be strong in order to manifest a business, right? And the same thing with my teacher soul gift archetype. That requires the red aura layer and the blue aura layer, two aura layer, to be strong. However, because of my ancestral trauma wound in the red aura layer, it was blocking me to manifest such a desired result. That means that my life is showing me that, hey, it's time, circumstance arise to heal my ancestral wound. What I realized is that I have a lot of patterning or thought forms around money and effort and how I show up for my business, inherited from my mother line, right? And I was born and raised as an Asian female in China. So it's a lot of suppression of self-expression as well. So it's around the throat chakra. So from then on, I consciously working on my red aura layer and my throat chakra to raise my vibration to match, the desired outcome that I wanted to get to. And I connected with my spirit team, sitting meditation. And my guides, my spirit guides, always comes back and have one voice consistently: forgive your mom, forgive your mom. And I remember the first time that I heard this saying from my spirit team, or more like a knowing, inner knowing, clear cognizant, that I was required to forgive my mom as a, how I heal my ancestral trauma. The first reaction is I say F you because it's really hard. For me, it's not easy. Because how they were raised, Asian females raise you as super critical moms. It's like, if I get an A, my mom will say that, well, why can't you get an A+? It's almost like I'm never good enough to prove that I'm enough. So I always can, seek this external validation. So then later on in my life, I use my business or career achievement as a way to, almost like prove my self-worth. And when I tie my self-worth into, like your personal identity, that's going to block me from manifesting abundance. So I noticed that was the blockage. And also, that required basically I forgive my mom. And it took me, even though I'm very clear about it, but my human self was not able to do it, to be honest. So in human time, Avocado Toast, to answer your question, is that it took me about 3.5 years, human times, to be completely healed from that. And that require also a strong heart chakra, because it's about forgiveness, right? So in that healing, in that forgiveness process about forgiving my mom, now I understand it has nothing to do with her, like at all. It has everything to do with me. I am just taking responsibility of my own feelings, okay? And I set myself free. So it wasn't actually for her. It's actually for myself. So when the day that comes that I finally forgive her, oh my gosh, I feel so much lighter. My heart feels like a huge stone, kind of get rid of, like it's out of my weight. and my body literally feel lighter. And I can even feel my red aura layer coming back into my body, like in my energy system. And the crazy thing is that even though you're just working on your own energy, you're not working on anything externally. And even though my mom doesn't even know that I forgive her, but she can feel the energy of how I'm talking. Oh my gosh, I like these rainbow balloons. It's almost spirit send me a sign that yes, I'm on the right path. You see, it's like almost the signs from the external world or the reality kind of mirror what's happening inside of me, even though nobody is knowing that what's going on, internally. But the moment that I forgive her, that's when my business thrive. It's crazy because now the red aura layer is on board. I'm able to hold more abundance, and my teacher soul gift archetype finally rise. And the same thing with when I heal my ancestral trauma, I remember that it also triggered my inner child healing, because it's like I finally need to not prove to my mom that I'm worthy. I'm worthy totally by myself. So it actually triggers the yellow aura layer, that feels better, as well as my inner child, because I remember there was a meditation. I went to a conference. I actually wrote that story in my book, that I visualized my inner child running towards me, and I was saying to her that, now go play, you're free now. So it's like I completely, I don't need to work hard in order to prove my worth. I don't need to have to work hard in order to have abundance. That mental pattern dissolve. My inner child is healed. And the crazy thing is that when I went back to home after the conference, because of the forgiveness, it triggers the red aura layer heal, and then my inner child, my sacral chakra heal, and then my confidence, self-empowerment comes back, my yellow aura layer heal, and also my green aura layer in the heart chakra, I begin to have compassion towards my mom, which I never had before. So all of these, it's like an upgrade, like a soul upgrade. So even though it took 3.5 years, is it worth it? It's absolutely worth it, because of all these upgrade, the external reality, how does it respond to me? First, my business started to thrive. Second, my daughter, after I went back home after the conference that I healed my inner child, my daughter literally drew me a note, like she drew a bunny on a piece of paper and said that, Mommy, a bunny can be a bunny, you can be you. Like I literally also did not pass down to that high crazy expectation in the lineage of woman towards my daughter. That means that I literally lift that up, right? So you heal your ancestral lineage, the whole thing. And also to a deeper degree, about, I don't know, probably a year later, I already, disengage with the trigger from my mother. Although sometimes I go back to the old pattern, but I'm able to pause. Remember that sign that you make a different choice under pressure. I'm able to pause in between and not engage with fights with my mom. And from then on, about a year later, my mom was diagnosed with stage 1 liver cancer. And it was actually past August, she was diagnosed. And I'm able to connect to her spirit team and understand that she needs to forgive her parents, because the anger and resentment that's reside in the liver was killing her. So that means that she has a choice. Her soul has a choice. Does she want to forgive her parents and be healed? Or does she want to just remain the same, and the body gets deteriorate and pass on, and the soul reincarnate and heal this soul wound one more time? That's the thing about soul wound. It's really deep. If you don't face it, you can just get stuck in that pattern, not upgrade, and then just just reincarnate until you heal it, right? So that's why I said time is infinite. There is no human time, as long as you've healed it. And then after that, I relayed that message to my mom, and my mom, before the treatment, there was a treatment that's required to heal first stage liver cancer. The night before the treatment, we had to stay in a hotel because the treatment is super early in the morning. She bowed down on her knees and she prayed in her first time in my whole life. I never see her pray because I did not grow up religious or spiritual in any way. And she will say that God, universe, higher source, whatever there is, I forgive my parents, please heal me. And I immediately see the light restore. She was sobbing, and I immediately see the inner light or the aura energy restore in her auric field psychically. So that's the trigger. That's like when you're working on yourself, that you just want to, heal yourself. But if it is at a soul level, we are all connected. All souls are connected, especially those close to you. They can feel it immediately and the reality will respond. And that's the reward of healing a soul wound. That's why, you want to work on it. You want to face it. If there is a repeating pattern that life keep throwing at you, you better like face the dark side. And because the fruit or the reward on the other side is so much better. And of course, now I set myself free and I heal my mom from liver cancer, and I heal literally the mother line lineage. I'm sure, it triggers my grandparents, even though they pass away, but they're still in the spirit realm and they can feel it, as well as my daughter. So this is like really like ancestral healing. And Avocado Toast had a comment saying that, yeah, YouTube posts balloons based on keywords. I don't know which one. Yeah, it's very interesting. The balloon just hit on literally when I was sharing the healing process. I think it's divine synchronicity. I have no idea what keywords as well. So it's like almost like my spirit guides want to let you know as well that this is a rewarding process. So that's why I want you to understand that how do you know, that you have healed a wound or learn a lesson. This is one of the, most asked questions in the Oracle Wheel practitioners community. Well, I think it's better to heal instead of doing 1,000 more lifetimes. Definitely true, Avocado Toast. Yeah, it's much easier, and it's much easier you deal with it almost like immediately, right? Rather than it's like a lingering, repeating negative pattern. Sometimes it might be a little bit hard, to face it humanly at the beginning. That's why, connecting with our spirit team and surrendering and ask for help and give permission for your guides to come in is so important. I remember how much Mother Mary has supported me during this ancestral trauma healing process. It took a long time, human time. I think at soul time, it's not that long, right? There is no linear time at the quantum field. Every version of you is stacked up on each other, right? There is a version of you is completely healed, completely free. And in order to access to that particular reality or that particular version of you already living free, no soul wounds, no soul lessons, it's literally you just need to match that vibration. And I choose that, right? And I also share with you a few other stories in the Aura Color Wheel book, how my clients and students use this system to heal themselves as well. And I share with one really heartfelt story, Sherry, that was also like really hard soul wound that she has to face. Now, Sherry came to me at her 60s. So it's pretty, it's later on in her life, because she had whole anger and resentment and hatred, let me put it that way, towards her two brothers, because she was sexually abused by her older brother and emotionally or verbally abused by her younger brother when she was young. So her sacral chakra is deeply wounded. That's where the inner trial, sexual abuse survivors, they all have the sacral chakra wound, right? she was born with a turquoise soul aura color. So she was born a healer. She did exercise her healing abilities, but she's never able to forgive. And then at the age of 60, she's like feeling really hard. She want to forgive. She was also diagnosed with stage 1 breast cancer. That's like the heart chakra. It's really blocked because she's not able to forgive. And working with her really deeply for about 18 months, we did like private sessions. She went through the oracular wheel certification, like the practitioner training, used the knowledge and the wisdom that's used in the book, in the oracular wheel book, like the aura layer healing, right? And connecting with her ancestors and spirit guides in angel channeling sessions, theta healing. After 18 months, she was able to forgive her brothers. And it's just like we are doing this work privately. We're not announcing to any brother, hey, I'm going to forgive you or anything. But because of her choice, she released the negative soul contract between, she and her brother, which is awesome. That means she doesn't need to experience this all over again when she reincarnates. So what happens is that her older brother has passed, her younger brother still live, and they haven't spoken to each other for 10 years. But after she released the brothers and, say that I forgive you, and literally we wrote a letter, she burned it in fire. Her younger brother actually called her. It was like, oh my gosh, it's almost like a 3D reality will reflect back to you, even though you're working on your own soul wound. But for her, it's much needed, release. It's almost like how I felt, like a huge stone, like dropped down. And what happened is that her younger brother called her and said sorry for what he had done for her in the past. And they haven't spoken for 10 years. That's definitely a divine sign of soul healing. As well as even though the older brother has passed, when I channel his spirit, we both felt his presence and his apology. That means the negative soul contract is completely resolved. So that was absolutely beautiful. And by the way, also 18 months went back to the scan for first stage breast cancer, also gone. So that's the power of soul level healing. It's very different than curing, meaning that curing is just symptom based, right? So you have this particular symptom, let's treat it. Now, although that I highly recommend if you have a physical manifestation of a soul wound, like me, have strep throat, sinus infection and nosebleed, you should still go through the medical system, to help it. But if I'm not healing from my, soul level to be able to authentically express, encourage, courageously express what my truth is, it's not going to heal from a soul level. That symptom is just going back to repeat. Now, if you have a physical manifestation of a soul wound or a soul lesson, I highly recommend you to use Ayurveda, Chinese traditional medicine. Those are like using food as medicine to heal it, right? If you have a emotional or mental symptom, meditation is really helpful to help heal. My personal, manifestations, anxiety and depression, that's in the red aura layer. With that ancestral soul wound, meditation helped heal me. And then after 3 months of my daily meditation, I was able to take off all my medication at the same time. And then it's just like your soul wound and soul lesson healing will kind of evolve. Like every time they're going to show you a little bit, like what you can handle at the moment. And as you heal a little bit deeper and peeling a little bit layer by layer of it, your soul can handle a little bit more. Your life circumstance will rise for you to heal that particular layer, right? Like, for example, at the beginning, it's healing my physical layer. And then later on, I realized I have the ancestral, anxiety and depression, right? That's the emotional and mental aura layer that I need to heal. And then later on, when it gets deeper at a soul level or spiritual level, I realized there was an ancestral wound that I have to live to kind of heal. So it's almost like, I would say it's an upward spiral. So it's not like once I'm healed and I'm done. yeah, once you get to the soul level or the spiritual level, then you are really done. Although sometimes, your 3D or your human self kind of goes back a little bit, but because of that self-awareness and self-consciousness that you have already cultivated, it's much easier whenever next time similar situation arise, you know what to do, to help to heal it, right? So for those of you who are, once you have taken the course, you identify where your soul wound reside in, and you have that clarity and, self-awareness that what you need to work on, try to use all the spiritual practices I mentioned in chapter 2 of the Oracle Wheel book, as well as the Radiant Aura Guide, if you want to download it on my website. And you still get the 3 bonuses when you purchase the Oracle Wheel book. You get to join the Oracle Wheel Circle private Facebook group, where I host monthly live Q&A, as well as spirit message reading, and personalized feng shui, birth element, and gua number reading, and $50 of the Rainbow Aura meditation bundle. Now, in that bundle, as I mentioned, how important meditation is to connect with your spirit team, for spiritual help, as well as clarity of your intention. It's 49 original solfeggio frequency music guided meditation, targeted 7 aura layers, for like 7 meditation for 7 aura layers. So it's highly recommend you to get a copy of this book, because once you identify what you're working on, there was a list of holistic medicine that you can try and see which one works for you. And of course, I'm not saying that, most of it is about self-consciousness and self-healing. But if, it's something that's really deep that requires spiritual healing, you can always hire a professional, past life regression, hypnotherapy, ancestral healing, inner child healing, any experts to help you expedite, the process. I'm not saying that, but self-awareness is always key, right? And the cool thing, I want to kind of revisit the soul gift archetypes, because once you've healed your soul wound and learned your soul lessons to a certain degree, different soul gift archetypes will rise. We have all 9 soul gift archetypes, although you have one that you're born with that you are naturally or more inclined to have, but we all have 9 of them. And the more soul gift archetypes we embody, the easier for us to manifest a certain desired outcome, right? So no matter you want to manifest your soulmate, abundance, or successful business, everything is in the soul gift archetypes. I'm going to share a document. Let me see. Share screen, a window. So it's right here. This is also in the Oracle Wheel book. The 9 soul gift archetypes is powered by one aura layer that's powered by the higher 3 chakras, and one aura layer that's powered by the lower 3 chakras, right? That's the universal law of the yin and the yang. That's how the 2 aura layers work together to make a soul gift archetype. Now, as I use my personal experience to heal my ancestral trauma and manifest a successful business, it's literally require, the entrepreneur soul gift archetype. If you're manifesting a business, you better embody the entrepreneur soul gift archetype. What does that mean? That requires your yellow aura layer, yellow aura layer and blue aura layer to be strong in order to be a successful entrepreneur. Meaning that you need to have that self-worth that's not tied to my external validation from my mom, right? It means that I need to be able to express myself in order to get to that. And the same thing, because my entrepreneurship or my business is about spiritual teaching, I also need the teacher soul gift archetype to be on board, which requires a strong red aura layer powered by the root chakra. What does red aura layer stands for spiritually? It's your ancestors. It's your safety and security. It's how safe you are with your own body, right? And all of these requires me to heal my ancestral trauma before I can embody the teacher soul gift archetype. As you can see, I also require a blue aura layer. So my throat soul wound that I was born with, I need to heal it. Otherwise, it's really hard for me to manifest this desired outcome. And the same, like I was born with an artist soul gift archetype, so orange as an artist, orange and violet are my strong aura layers. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't go out of balance or doesn't need healing. Because in early on, when I was in my PhD degrees, right, I was doing a lot of statistical analysis. I wasn't doing any creative work. I wasn't using my soul gift. So that's why it was out of balance. So your soul gift archetype strong aura layers can also be out of balance if you don't use it. I really like the saying by Jesus Christ is that if you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. And if you do not bring forth what's within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. And that's exactly what it is. So that means that I also need to balance and use my orange aura layer powered by the sacral chakra. And that's also where I heal my inner child. So eventually, you actually want to heal all your aura layers until they are whole, balanced in a holistic state. So that's why it's important for you to also understand in the oracle wheel system, the 9 universal soul gift archetypes and what you want to embody in the quantum field. Then you realize that, okay, so I need to work on which soul aura layer, so that way I can vibrate in a higher vibrational frequency to manifest my desired reality faster. So I hope this a little bit review helps you to remember the oracle wheel system. And next week in my solo episode, I am going to talk about how you evolve through your different soul gift archetypes. Because when you take the quiz, very likely the first time when you have the result, that's the soul gift archetype that you were born with. So it's like naturally you're born with it. But it doesn't mean that you stay there. That's why this system is dynamic. It's the beauty of the oracle wheel system. It's dynamic. As you grow, as you evolve, that's why I call it the aura evolution path, right? So you can embody multiple soul gift archetypes. And at that time, the reality in your life can manifest much faster because you begin to attract rather than trace. You begin to magnetize opportunities, the right people and synchronicities and opportunities in your life. That's when, that's the rewarding part. Remember this time I focus on the soul wound healing, the soul lesson incorporating, and the signs that you can find out that if you have healed or if you have learned a soul lesson. And next Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, I'm going to talk about once you have healed and learned a soul lesson, how your soul gift archetype can evolve into different ones, or sometimes you have multiple of them. And that's when synchronicities, opportunities, the right people just flowing in your life. And it's much easier that you are in a flow state. Do we all want to be in that flow state? Things just manifest naturally and there is nothing that's forced, nothing that's pushed. You're just living the fullest expression of the most authentic version of you. And that's the beauty of this work, right? So again, I am offering $55 off the first month off on the Aura Evolution Sanctuary membership. And I would highly recommend you to take advantage of it. And our upcoming meeting is next Thursday, March 5th after the solar and after the lunar eclipse, it's the ideal time to incorporate your spiritual work and connect with your spirit team for guidance. And I will be there. Hope to see you inside. And Avocado Toast saying that, yes, always want to be in the flow state. Yep, that's what I want to get you into. The Aura Color Wheel path, it's about from soul discovery to soul mastery. So the path have 5 different stages. If you want to know, your soul's evolution path, it's basically first is discovery. You realize what your born soul aura color is, what is your natural soul gift, what is your soul wound and soul lessons, so that you are aware of it. That's what I call discovery. And the second is activation. So once you know what are your gifts and wounds and lessons, you need to activate the memory, almost like activate your cellular memory in your DNAs at your soul level, who you truly are. I have the Radiant Aura Activation course, and that course is basically guide you through this process, how to activate every single aura layer so that you remember that you are light. Your soul is made up of light. And also the Radiant Aura meditation bundle, that's as a gift in the book purchase. It's also going to help you activate. And then the next step is embodiment, right? Just like living the truth in a daily life, right? Living your soul gifts, healing your soul wounds and soul lessons as I'm describing it, living the reality. And that's what the membership, the Soul Aura Evolution Sanctuary membership, that's what's going to help you to ground it into the day-to-day. Although we gather once a month, but you get the practices and meditation throughout the month. And also inside the online community, you can share your questions, your thoughts, your progress, and I will be your accountability partner. So that way you're living this as a reality rather than learning about it, right? So you are practicing it. And I will be working alongside with you so that way you can fully embody it. And the next level is mastery. So basically it's the Aura Color Wheel certification program, which I only launch once a year in August. And in that mastery program, you're basically going to become a certified Aura Color Wheel practitioner. So you can use this system not only to heal yourself, but also heal your friends, family members, as well as teaching it to your community, students, clients, private coaching. You will become a certified practitioner. And of course, the last one is transform. It's total transformation. You are at your soul level. You are a completely different soul gift archetype where you're born with. And that's, I have a VIP enlightenment private coaching. But I only offer that to the students who have already become a certified practitioner. So that's the Aura Color Wheel path I want to describe to you. And that's what I personally experience with hundreds of my students and clients that walk this path. And your life will be completely transformed. Just like Avocado Toast was saying, that always in that flow state. That's where I am right now. So I hope to see you all next Monday live at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And here's one more time to grab the link to join the membership. And this podcast episode will be live on audios across Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, all of them tomorrow. I hope you to have a very blissful spring feeling week. And also let me know if you would like to join my community Spring Equinox Soul Reset Ceremony, because I literally just channel Ostera, Archangel Jophiel, and Mother Mary this morning during my morning walk and yoga and meditation practice, that I feel called to guide a ceremony for our soul's reset in Spring Equinox. So March 20th, it's a Friday. We're going to gather together to reset our soul's evolution path. And I will have channel messages from these divine beings as well. And I just feel like to offer it to my community, whoever who's already in my community. So it will be a community thank you event for people who have purchased the book, on this in my Aura Color Wheel Circle, in the Radiant Aura Activation course, say thank you for you. Okay, so thank you, everybody. Happy almost spring equinox, not yet. All right, have a very blissful rest of your week.